So oftentimes, all of us, especially from India, we hear about various demigods, especially Lord Vinayaka, whom we celebrated recently, Brahma, Lord Shiva, Kumaraswamy, Hanuman, Lakshmi Devi, Saraswati Devi. At various occasions, all of us have gone to these temples and worshipped. So, how do we know who is the supreme? And are there multiple gods or there is one God? So just like in the state there is a chief minister, there may be many chief ministers in the country, but there is only one prime minister, right? There are no two prime ministers. There is only one prime minister. So today we'll understand through scriptural evidence who is that supreme God. Hmm? What does scripture say about it? And also, we know various religions are there in the world. For example, there is Christianity, there is Jewish, and then Islam. So each of these religions also have a supreme God they worship, right? And what is the relationship between these various gods, or the so-called names each of us in Sanatana Dharma? We have gods as well as we have supreme God as well. So how are they related? What do they mean? For example, in Islam, Lord is called by Allah, right? All of us. uh, what does Allah mean? Allah means the greatest. Allah means the greatest, means there is nobody comparable to him. He is not comparable to anyone. He is the greatest of all that exist. And similarly, Jehovah. Jehovah means the Almighty. Almighty also means the same. Almighty means He is the mightiest of all, right? There is no equal to Him or nobody greater than Him. If something is greater than Him, that becomes God again. So by definition, Almighty or the greatest, they all refer to the greatest, the greatest personality, the God, right? And in Sanatana Dharma, the meaning of the word Krishna literally means all attractive, right? So in this world, if you see anybody, all of us, we are attracted to, for example, people of this world. We are all attracted to, say, in today's time, Elon Musk. Why is he attractive? Anyone want to answer? Why is Elon Musk attractive to people? What is great about him? Anyone want to answer? Or
There are many perspectives. Like first, maybe like people are attracted because he's like the big businessman. He has like a lot of money. Another perspective, like people, he always saying something which are uncommon, means which are not like other people are saying. That's what sometimes he is also in like highlighted.
yeah, he tries to attract a lot of social media attention
Yeah,
with his basically famous. He's famous.
yeah.
He's very famous. Um, many of us in India are know very well all the cinema heroes or cinema heroines. Like for example, Aishwarya Rai. Everybody knows, right? Why is Aishwarya Rai attractive to people in general? She is considered the most beautiful, for example, at least until some time ago. Or Sachin Tendulkar, he is also very famous for his skill. So in this way, we are attracted to people who have something extraordinary about them, right? It's called opulence. Opulence Opulence can be beauty, opulence can be, riches, opulence can be fame, opulence can be their renunciation. Even we are attracted to great acharyas like Shankaracharya. His renunciation is the greatest. We are attracted to Mahatma Gandhi. He is famous. So in this way, everybody is attracted if people have one of these qualities in higher proportion compared to others, right? Somebody is only beautiful, they are attractive. Somebody is only rich, they are attractive. So by definition, all attractive, the literal word Krishna means the one who possesses all the six opulences. There are six opulences that are mentioned mentioned by Parashar Muni to define Bhagavan. Bhagavan means, Bhaga means opulence, Van means one who has in possession in full. What are those? All riches. Everything in existence belongs to him. All strength, all fame. He's all famous, right? Krishna is famous not only in India, not only in America, not only in Russia, all over Europe, everywhere. All beauty is the most beautiful. All knowledge is full of knowledge. All renunciation. He is also renounced. Is not attached to anything. So that is the definition. So that's why the word attractive also equally, refers to Bhagavan or the, God, right? So this is the definition of God. Yeah. Now, these names, whether it is Jehovah, Allah, Rama means the supreme reservoir of all pleasure, right? All the pleasure comes from him, right? Rama. And Krishna means all attractive, who possesses all the opulences. So in this way, we can see these are, just like different names for the same thing. For example, in English we call water as water. In Hindi we call pani, right? In Telugu we call it Neeru. In Tamil we call it Tannir. But the object is same, right? The qualities we describe. So similarly, these various names of God like Allah, Jehovah, Rama, Krishna, they're all referring to one Supreme Lord. Yeah. So that is Krishna himself. Yeah, he's referred in various names in various countries according to the particular prophets or the teachers' own revelation and realization, right? That is all the difference. Yeah. So anyone who possesses all the above six opulence in full is naturally all attractive. The equivalent Sanskrit word for all attractive is Krishna. Hence, Krishna is the name which gives the most complete description of God. Yeah. So you can say greatest, but it is not complete in terms of definition. The complete definition is one who possesses six opulences. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasasya. So in this way, virya, yashas, aishwarya, all these opulences, jnana, vairagya, sannam iti bhagavan gana. So in this way, one who possesses all the opulences is known as the Supreme Lord. So Krishna perfectly describes the possessor of all six opulences. Yeah. So in the Bible, Jesus doesn't call himself as God. He calls himself as the Son of God, himself as the representative of God. And who is the God? God is Christ. So he himself refers to as Son of God. And in fact, Bhagavad Gita says that we are all children of God, right? Aham Bija Pradapita, Krishna says. I am the seed-giving father of all living entities in the existence. So it's not just Jesus, but he is, of course, he really behaved like a son of God. Most people in this world do not behave like a son of God as a representative of God. So that is his. Uh, he is a great guru, we can call in our Sanatan Dharma. A similar person like Jesus' stature is is like Shankaracharya or Madhvacharya, like that. So the Christ word is actually comes from the Greek word Christos. You see, Christos. Christ is the Christ is the name of God Jesus called as God, right? And this Christos word, Christos is the Greek version of the same word Krishna. You see, in this way, actually, when they refer to Christo, Jesus Christ, in other words, they're also actually referring to Krishna himself. So Krishna is a Sanskrit word meaning the object of attraction. So when we address God as Christ or Krishna, we indicate the same all attractive supreme personality of Godhead. So when Jesus said, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, that name of God was actually Krishna or Christ. Christ is simply another way of saying Krishna. So we may say, of course, in Bible we do not see the description of Krishna's pastimes, etc. It all depends on the revelation to the person who is doing, right. So it is the revelation to Jesus is different, even though the same person, according to time, place, circumstance, the revelation is different. So in that way, it's not exactly the same, but the personality, because it all depends on the same person talks to different people in different ways. For example, prime minister in the office, right? He will have security guard, and he'll be addressing people in a specific, orderly, polite way, right? According to etiquette, he has to behave there. But the same prime minister, when he comes to his mother's place or sister's place, or his own family, he would behave very differently. He would carry his grandson on his back. Uh, it's a very deeper, loving exchange there, right? So the same person is observed by different people in different ways. The same person is revealed differently. So Krishna is a very, very intimate, loving revelation of God. It's not the same. Even Vishnu is different. Vishnu, when he is revealed, you see Vishnu sitting on a throne while all the Vaikuntavasis serving him in a very very respectful way. So the devotees there experience a different rasa called Aishwarya rasa with God. But the Gopa friends of Krishna, they would steal butter from the hands of Krishna, and sometimes they will climb on the back of Krishna. It's a very intimate relation there. See, God is revealing differently to different devotees. You see, so that is the difference between various modes of worship, but it's all refers to the same personality in essence. So Muhammad calls himself a prophet or messenger of God, Khuda. He teaches Ruh, soul, is purified by the flowering of Ishq or spiritual love. So, so the essence of every religion is it talks about who we are, Jiva or Ruh in Islam, and it talks about God or Khuda or Christ or Krishna, and the process of developing love for him, right? By in Islam they worship six times a day, right? They at specific intervals of time they try to remember God. In Sanatan Dharma also we do Gayatri. For example, I do Gayatri every day 3 times. So in the morning 6 o'clock, at noon 12 o'clock, and evening 6 o'clock, I sit down and do Gayatri Japa. For it takes 5 minutes. So in this way, uh, remembrance of God is the process. Remembrance and developing attraction and love for God to serve God. So the process is same. So in essence, every true religion, whether it is Christianity or Islam or um, Sanatana Dharma, they teach the same. Um, developing loving relationship with God is the essential teaching. Yeah. Yeah. So one question is, who is God, right? We cannot really understand with our limited senses who really God is. So let us hear from the topics of Bhagavad Gita, right? So if you look at Bhagavad Gita, wherever Krishna spoke, Arjuna spoke. When Arjuna speaks or asks a question, it is mentioned as Arjuna Uvacha, or sometimes um, Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya also speaks a few verses. Sanjaya Uvacha is mentioned. But when Krishna speaks, it is not mentioned as Krishna Uvacha. It is mentioned as Bhagavan Uvacha. He is distinct. He's not, he's not referred to by his literal name. Instead, he's given his proper full qualification, which is Bhagavan. So that is how Lord Krishna is referred in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. So, Bhagavad Gita is like essence of all the Vedic literature. So in that literature, it is mentioned Krishna is Bhagavan, Bhagavan Vacha. Yeah. So in many verses, Krishna clearly asserts that his supremacy over all the demigods of pantheon, Vedic pantheon, right? Whether it is Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, Brahma. So he clearly distinguishes how Suragana means the 33 crore demigods. The chief among are the Indra, Varuna, Vayu, these. So he clearly distinguishes himself from all of them, right? But many people think, he's just Lord Krishna is just one more god along with all these other gods, but he's not. He's not the same. Yeah, we'll go through some verses in Bhagavad Gita that clearly show what Krishna is, right? He's not an ordinary person or an extraordinary person. He's the supreme person. He's the supreme controller, supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer, and the one whom no one can ever equal to or surpass in any aspect, including Vishnu's, or right. So that's why. So if you see it, if you understand the process, if you read the process of creation in Srimad Bhagavatam, so from Krishna comes Balaram, from Balaram comes, in the Chaturvyuha, there is a Chaturvyuha, there is Shankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, like that. So four, and from Shankarshan again next comes is Narayana, Lord Narayana. From Lord Narayana comes the Karanodak Sai Vishnu, who is responsible for the material creation. So there are like multi-level process of creation. So in this, so Mahavishnu comes as the fourth level of expansion of Krishna. And essentially they're all same. They're all, it's called Vishnu Tattva, right? They're all equally powerful. Just like you light 10 lamps with a single lamp, right? There is all the 10 lamps are equally powerful, but there is one original lamp that lighted up the other lamps. So similarly, all these various incarnations I just mentioned, they're all sourced in one original source, Lord Krishna. But these are all incarnations for various purposes. Then why one may ask, why so many incarnations? They're all for various, specific duties. They're all there. For example, Mahavishnu or Karanodak Sai Vishnu is for the creation of the material universes. But within universe also there should be one Supreme Lord who should be responsible. So that is called Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, the one who lies in the causal ocean, from whose navel comes the lotus flower on which Lord Brahma is born. So that Vishnu is specific to a universe, a single universe. And from that Vishnu, again, Kshirodakshai Vishnu comes, who enters the heart of every jiva. Like, in my heart, there is one Vishnu also, along with myself, Atma, there is also a Vishnu. That Vishnu is called Kshirodakshai Vishnu. The same original Vishnu expands in various ways for the functioning of the jivas, functioning of the universe, functioning of the cosmic manifestation. Right? So Lord Vishnu is called Purushottam, right? The one who is the supreme personality of Godhead. While Lord Rama is called Maryada Purushottam. Lord Rama is so all these incarnations, they're called Guna avatars that I mentioned till now. They come for the purpose of creation, right? So similarly, Lord comes once in a while to protect his devotees and to attract the jivas of the material existence to the spiritual world, Vaikunthas. And he comes in various incarnations for each yuga. They're called yuga avatars. Lord Rama is a yuga avatar, right? Um, so Lord Krishna is a yuga avatar. He's also called yuga avatar. He's also Purna avatar, but also a yuga avatar. And similarly, many other incarnations come from each age. And then, right? So why is he called Maryada Purushottam? Because he came specifically to show the ideal behavior for everybody to follow, right? Because he is the ideal husband and he is the ideal son of Dasaratha and Kaikeyi. Is the ideal ruler of the country. Uh, he behaved the best, showed the best example of how to take care of one's brother, one's wife, one's father. So that's why he's called Maryada Purushottama. He taught specifically that, that principle. And Lord Krishna is called Purna Purushottam, which means he's the complete manifestation of Godhead. Right? There is no truth above him, according to Bhagavad Gita. Right? So he proved it by showing Vishwarupam. In the 10th chapter, there is description of the whole Vishwarupam of the Supreme Lord, 10th and 11th. Yeah. So, and all the other, forms of Lord actually appear from him, right? Yeah. So here is a simple quiz based on what we discussed so far, right? So you can all, so Krishna, let's try to match here. Right?
The all attractive Godhead, number I.
Yes, all attractive God by his fullness in six opulences. Yes. Allah, the greatest, right? Greatest. Allah means, literal word means greatest. Jehovah means, anybody? We discussed Jehovah is the, in Christianity we call as Jehovah. Jehovah means the Almighty. Yeah. And Christ,
Another name.
yes, another name of Sri Krishna himself, Christos. The Greek, it comes from the Greek word Christos. Maryada Purushottam, we just discussed.
Lord Ram.
Yes, Lord Rama, ideal example of humans to follow. Purna Purushottam. Purna Purushottam
A
is Krishna.
person who possesses all, or the Sri Krishna.
Yes, all attract. This one, right?
Number C also is the same thing, I think.
Person who, oh, yeah, correct. All six opulences, correct. Yeah. Muhammad.
Number K, prophet and messenger of God.
Yes. Khuda. Messenger of God. Khuda. Ishq in Islam.
Ishq. Spiritual love. Okay.
Yeah. Spiritual love. Basically, the teaching is to develop love. Ruh in Islam.
Soul.
Yes, soul. Ruh is soul. Ishq is spiritual love. Jesus.
Oh, son of God. Yeah.
Bhagavan. Yeah, maybe Bhagavan is the one for this. First,
Yeah.
this all six appearances.
Mm.
Yeah. Purna Purushottam is all attractive God by his fullness in six appearances. Correct. Thank you. Yeah. So some of the people say, oh, but Vedas, yeah, but Puranas talk about Krishna, but Vedas do not talk. But actually, there are statements in Vedas also. So, for example, there is this verse in Rig Veda, the Canto 1, chapter 22, verse number, I think 164.31, that says, Apasyam Gopam Anipadyama Nama. I saw a covered by Gopal Krishna who is infallible. Yeah. And Sripad Shankaracharya, who is, proponent of Advaita philosophy. In general, they focus only on Vedas, not on Puranas. But in Gita Mahatmya, he writes like this: Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam, Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva, Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani, Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva. So, what that means is Ekam Shastram. Especially in this age, people want to have one scripture. Ekam Shastram. So let there be one scripture. What is that scripture? Devaki Putra Gitam. Let that scripture be Bhagavad Gita of Devaki Putra Krishna. Eko Deva. Who is that? Who that should be? Devaki Putra Eva. Let Devaki Putra Krishna be that Deva. One God. Eko Mantrasya. Mantras. Tasya Namani Yani. So let us speak one name of God or one mantra. That mantra is just the name of God. That's it. Name of God itself is the mantra. You don't need to chant anything else. Eko mantras tasya namani yani karmapi ekam tasya devasya seva. Let there be one work, and that work be this God's service, Lord Krishna's service. So Shankaracharya is the greatest acharya in the past, in the Vedic times. So he speaks like this. Yeah. So the mantra that we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In one mantra, we are chanting 16 names of Lord. Yeah. Yeah. And what does Vishnu Sahasranama recite? Vishnu Sahasranama is 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, as described by Bhishma Pitamaha in Mahabharata. So it is mentioned Sahasranamnam Punyanam Trir Avritya Tuyat Phalam Eka Avritya Tu Krishna Sya Namak Ekam Tat Prachyate. By uttering the single name of Krishna just once, one attains the same benefit as that gained by reciting Vishnu's 1,000 names 3 times. Brahmanda Purana. So from Brahmanda Purana, we understand that if you chant 3 times Vishnu Sahasranama, the effect is same as chanting one word Krishna. But in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, how many Krishnas are there? You can see Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 four names of Krishna are there, and then 4 names of Rama are there. Right? So you can see, so one chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra one time is equivalent to chanting 12 times Vishnu Sahasranama full 1000 names. So 12,000 names of Vishnu almost. You see, that is the potency. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a very highly potent mantra. And in Vishnu Sahasranama, it is also mentioned Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Mano Rame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Yeah? Lord Shiva told Parvati, what does she say? Oh, beautiful one, you asked me how the long-wounded Vishnu Sahasranam recited by Panditas can be uttered briefly. Here it is. Uttering one utters Lord Rama's names 3 times, it is equivalent to reciting Vishnu Sahasranam once. So if you chant Lord Rama's name 3 times, Rama, 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 then it's as good as chanting 1000 names of Vishnu. You see? So, in other words, you can also say chanting one name of Krishna is equal to chanting 9 times of Lord Rama name, and chanting one Rama's name is equivalent to chanting chanting 3 times of Rama's name is equivalent to 1 time chanting of Vishnu Sahasranama. So this is what, from Padma Purana, Lord Shiva's conversation with Parvati, and Brahmanda Purana that describes the connection between Vishnu Sahasranama and Krishna's name. So that is the potency of Krishna's name. So that's why we request everyone to chant. It is the fastest way to purify. So for example, there are, sometimes we take medicines with high doses, right? If the fever is high, what does doctor give? He gives 1000 mg of, dilutol. Immediately fever comes down. But if the fever is light, for example, you only have 101 degrees, he will give only 250 mg of dilutol. Why? For the higher problem, there is a higher medicine. You need a more higher dose. So for the Kali Yuga, Mahamantra is recommended for that reason. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because you need a higher dose. There is too much strong material influence in the Kali Yuga, and the time that we have is very short. In Kali Yuga, people live only 100 years max, and that is also going down. In Dwapar Yuga, people lived 500 to 1000 years. And in the previous age, even more, much more. They were strong, they were happy, much more happier than us. They're much higher in height. They used to be it is mentioned that, Bhima's height was 12 feet, right? We are not 12 feet. We are at most 6 feet, right, in Kali Yuga. So in that way, people are much stronger and better in those days. For them, maybe other methods, Vishnu Sahasranama is also okay, or meditation is also okay. But for us, the same result can be obtained by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. Yeah. So 16 auspicious markings found only in Sri Krishna's lotus feet and no one else, right? So these are the markings on the lotus feet of Krishna. You see here. So it's not visible clearly. Yeah. So Lord Brahma said to Narada Muni once, please know that I am speaking the truth when I say to you that there is no one equal to Lord Krishna. I know very well that the transcendental markings on his lotus feet, which reveal him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is very dear to his devotees in Padma Purana. Right? So these are, directly quotes from Puranas. Yeah. So, and he further says, I have personally seen 16 auspicious markings on Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Shodashaivatu Chinhani Maya Drishyani Tatpade. So that is the verdict of Lord Brahma. O best of Vaishnavas, Lord Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why it's called Purna Purushottam. Even in fact, you do Ganesh Puja or Lakshmi Puja, carefully observe what they say at the end. Every spiritual ritual that is conducted by in Sanatana Dharma always ends with one final saying. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Try to observe. Next time you ask anybody. Even we do Balaji worship in in our Balaji temple in Bellevue or anywhere else. The same thing is said. Even though they worship Balaji, who is also an incarnation of Krishna, at the end they say Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Observe, ask anybody. It's very clear that entire Vedic scriptures acknowledge this fact that Krishna is the supreme. Right? Yeah. So on the lotus feet of many incarnations of the Lord, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 of these auspicious signs may be present. But all 16 signs are present only on the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Yeah. Now we will go through some shlokas about Lord Krishna, right? Krishna is not attractive just because he's the possessor of all the 16 opulences, right? The most attractive aspect of Lord Krishna is his love for his devotees, right? For example, you know how in any movie, how is the hero introduced? When a hero is introduced, he would come, first the camera shows his feet walking in a royal way, right? And then slowly they'll turn to his face and he will open his spectacles like this. Uh, we can see how they introduce the hero. But in Bhagavad Gita, you know how Lord Krishna is introduced? He is introduced as a chariot driver of Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Chariot driver is not a very respectable position, especially in those days when people were, when there is Kshatriyas. In those times, chariot driver is a decent position, but not very respectful position. But Krishna, being the Supreme Lord, it's like a billionaire becoming a chauffeur for his servant at his home, right? We're all like minute particles of Lord, but because of his love for Arjuna, he's ready to become his chariot driver. That is the love of Lord, right? And sometimes as the in the intensity of the war, the chariot, the 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 person driven in the chariot will not have time to speak to the driver to go in the left direction or in the right direction. You know what they do at the time? They kick with their leg, left, right, to the chariot driver, right? And that is the position Lord Krishna took for Arjuna's sake. You see how much love he has for his devotee? Yeah. In so many instances, it's not just that one, right? When Draupadi was in big trouble, in the Kaurava assembly, he immediately appeared to protect her chastity, right? In the same way, in many other ways, Lord Krishna protected Pandavas, right? Even though they are the most powerful at the time, but still they needed the protection. So similarly, whoever we are, however rich, however powerful, however strong we are, we all need that, we are all dependent on God. in essence. Yeah. So now let's go through some shlokas from Bhagavad Gita that showcase who Krishna is. Yeah. You can all unmute and recite after me if you like to. Okay. Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. You can also repeat after me. Anybody want to recite? You can unmute and recite. So that way we can go together. Let me repeat again. I will first say and then you can repeat after me. Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Aham sarvasya prabhu.
matta sarvam pravartate
मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते
iti matva bhajante mam
मत्वा भजन्ते मां
बुधा bhava samanvita.
गूढा भावा समन्विताः
Aham sarvasya prabhavo means I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Mattah sarvam pravartate. Everything comes from me, emanates from me. Right? Iti matva bhajante mam burdha bhava samanvitaha. The wise, knowing this perfectly, that everything, all the material, all the spiritual worlds come from Lord Krishna. Those who know that, the wise who perfectly know this, engage in what? Bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvitaha, with great attention. What do? They perform devotion service. They engage in devotion service and worship me with all their hearts. To their heart content, they worship the Supreme Lord because they know who is the supreme source of everything. And this is one verse. So Krishna is declaring in this verse, Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the source of all material and spiritual worlds. You see? Now the second verse. So this is he is the source of everything. The first verse. Yeah. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam
भोक्तारां यज्ञतपसां
sarvaloka maheshwaram
सर्वलोका महेश्वरम्
suhridam sarvabhutanam
सुहृतं सर्वभूतानां
atmamam santimrichate.
मां शान्तिमृच्छते
Bhoktaram yajna tapasam means you may perform various worships, this and that, but who is the actual beneficiary of all the sacrifices you perform? The beneficiary of all sacrifices and penances and austerities, yajna and tapas, is me. Krishna is saying. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, the same as the previous verse. And he is the Sarvaloka, means is the Maheshwara means is the supreme controller. Ishvara means controller. Maheshwara means the supreme controller of what? Sarvaloka. He is the supreme controller of all the planets and demigods thereof. Right? Suhridam Sarvabhutana. He is not just the controller and the beneficiary of all that exist. He is also Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. He is the best well-wishing benefactor of all the living entities. He is the benefactor of you, he is the benefactor of me, he is the benefactor of everybody that exists. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. There is no better friend than Krishna to us. Who is the best friend of all of us? Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. He is the best friend of all living entities. Jnatva mam santim richati. Those who know this fact that God is the most the best friend of all of us, and is the one person who does the maximum benefit to us, the benefactor of all of us. Sahridam sarvabhutanam Jnatva mam santim richati. Such a person will be relieved from all material pangs. We feel a lot of anxiety sometimes when we lose certain thing, or when we fail in an exam, or we lose a loved one. But when one understands that, our relation with God, right? That is one thing that is constant until we end our life. We'll never lose for Him. In fact, we only strengthen Him. So when we base our love on that relation, then everything else will work it out, normally works out. We don't need to worry too much because we have that support system from inside of us, right? We connect to our super soul strongly, Lord Krishna from inside. So that will be our, the one thing that doesn't change in our life, and it only grows. That loving spiritual love, the ishq, will grow only, right? Then we'll not feel material pangs from the various events of this world, right? Because we know we have a better and stronger shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, right? A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from pangs of material miseries. For such a person, there is no misery in this world. Why? Well, he knows everything is dependent on God. I am not the controller, God is the controller. I cannot get everything the way I want, because ultimately God will give me what is best for me. Suppose you tried to, tried for promotion, but you didn't get it this time. You don't know why it is good for you, but if you believe in God, you understand that whatever is happening to you is the best thing that should happen for you. So then there is Shanti. You are not worried too much. You do your best, but leave the rest to God, right? And you understand God is in control, and I don't need to worry too much about it. Next verse. Mayadhyakshena prakriti. Repeat after me.
Dikshena prakriti
Suyate sa characharam.
Suryate sa characharam
Etunanena kaunteya.
Itmaneya kauteya
Jagat viparivartate.
Tat viparivartate.
This material nature, which is one of my energies, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti, is working under my direction. Right? Many people think, oh, what is God? God is the same material nature around us. All this material, that is working perfectly like sun, moon, rains, day and night. It appears as if it is, it is working like a perfect mechanical apparatus. But actually, it is all operating under the superintendence of the Supreme Lord. That is why it is having a perfect orderliness, right? In the summer only there is heat, in the winter there is cold. You need air, it is there. You need water, it is there. You need food, it is there. As soon as the child is born, mother has milk, and after the child grows, there is no more milk. There is no milk before also. Who is supplying at the right time? The whole thing is controlled. We may not be able to see, we may not understand exactly how that mechanism is working under the purview of God, but it is working perfectly. Right? It's not just humans, it is with animals, it is with every living entity. God has made arrangement for all of our lives, existence. And in human form of life, we can understand. In other forms, it's not even easy to understand. So we have to leverage our human form of life to understand these aspects and understand the shelter of Lord that we all have, and gratefully pray to Him to keep it under His shelter. That way we will be protected in all situations. So the material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. Anybody want to repeat? Bijam mam sarva bhutanam.
Prabhuji, could you share the verse also, Prabhu?
Oh, you're not seeing my screen?
No,
Yes,
we are
please.
only able to see the presentation screen.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I missed it.
Yeah, now we are able to see, Prabhu.
Okay, I should have told you. Yeah. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam.
Bijam
Bijam
mam
mam sarva bhutanam
Vidhi pardha sanatanam.
Vidhi
Vidhi
Partha
partha
Sanatanam.
sanatanam
Buddhir buddhimatam asmi.
Buddhi
Buddhir
Buddhi
buddhimatam
Buddhimatam
asmi
Tejas tejasvinamaham.
Tejas
Tejas
Tejasvanam
tejasvinamaham
Bijam mam sarva bhutanam means I am the original seed giving father of all living entities. Sarva bhutanam. It didn't say only human beings. All the living entities. Bijam mam. Mam means me. Bijam means the seed. I am the seed giving father of all living entities on this existence. Vidhi Pardha Sanatana. Please understand this, Arjuna. Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi Tejas Tejasvinam Maham. Right? So he's saying, know that I am the seed giving father of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent. If somebody is intelligent, do not just praise him, appreciate the intelligence behind him. Right? It's a God's gift ultimately. And the prowess of powerful man. Right? We are attracted to powerful men, but the prowess behind them is actually sourced in Krishna, right? So next time you see something more, beautiful, understand, wow, it is Krishna's manifestation that I am so attracted to this person, right? Because Krishna's prowess is what we are attracted to in him. And nobody is special, it is only Krishna's prowess behind them that makes them attractive. Pitaham asya jagato. Next verse. Can you read with me? Pitaham asya jagato.
Pita
Pitamasya jagato
Mata dhata pitamaha.
Mata
Data
dhata
Pita
pitamaha
Vedyam pavitram omkara.
Vidyam
Vidyam pavitram omkara
Riksama yajurevacha.
Riksama yajurevacha.
I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. And I am also the Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas. Is Krishna. More verses. These are all showing clearly who is Krishna, right? So this is another great verse. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. Is a great verse. Mattah parataram nanyat. There is no truth superior to me. Now you understand why we worship Krishna in our in our ISKCON, right? Because this is all based on Bhagavad Gita. Whatever we do in ISKCON is all based on Bhagavad Gita, right? Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. You see pearl thread? Pearl thread, we see beautiful pearls, but we don't see the thread underneath, right? Everything in the pearl thread rests on the thread. It looks beautiful. Nobody appreciates the thread underneath. but actually the backbone of that pearl necklace is the thread behind it. If there is no thread, there is no, pearls won't stand, but nobody can actually see it. So everything that, working underneath in this material existence actually rests upon Krishna, as pearls are strung on thread. Name vidhu suragana prabhavanam na maharshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasha. Yeah. Name vidhu suragana means the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. Even the demigods like Indra, Varuna, Brahma, sometimes they also forget who is Krishna. Aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and sages. You see, he is the source of all the demigods and all the sages. So how would they know about him? For example, in Bhagavatam, there is a story of how Indra creates a thunderstorm, not knowing who is Krishna in Vrindavan, right? So at which time Lord Krishna lifts the Govardhana hill to protect Brajavasis. So in that way, sometimes Krishna is misunderstood even by the greatest demigods. One time Lord Brahma steals the Gopas from Krishna. Even again the same thing. Now the final verses for the day. Arjuna Uvacha. So after hearing Bhagavad Gita verses up till now, up to 10th chapter, 11th verse, this is what Arjuna says. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Sasvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshe Naradastata Ashito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravisi Me. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. You see, this is the conclusion of Arjuna. It's not just the conclusion of Arjuna. All the great sages like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa also confirm the same truth about Lord Krishna. And now you yourself are declaring. Krishna himself is speaking about it. So we can understand the position of Krishna from all these verses, right? He's the Supreme Lord. There's no comparison to him, to any demigods or anything like that. Okay. So any questions so far on what we discussed today? Is everything clear? Okay, if no questions, we'll meet next week in the university campus. I wish you all a great week ahead. Thank you all very much for joining online session today. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Prabhu.